The various universes are filled with wonder and delight. The many adventures and heroes I have seen are but one way things could have gone. However, one different choice can give birth to a whole new history and give the multiverse new heroes. As for me, these are my stories. I observe all that transpires here, but I do not, cannot, will not interfere, for I am the watcher of this dragon world. Well, unless it's fun to interfere, that is. So accompany me through these journeys into the what-ifs that are out there.
Following a string of nightmares, Mr. Satan finds himself waking up increasingly tired. Videl, his daughter, asks what he's been doing at night. Even though he is unsure, one thing is clear: his strength has increased. He's finally able to reach a final slab during his performances. But other strange events start to occur. During his daily jogs, he manages to outrun a speeding train. He tries to get into a taxi and accidentally crushes the car door with his bare hands. He even gets shot by robbers while at a bank to deposit a check, but the bullets simply bounce off his chest. Hercule simply brushes it off, thinking this must be because of all his sit-ups and juice he drinks every day. However, he's always hungry. Every night when he falls asleep, he wakes up in a completely different location instead of his bedroom. Satan installs cameras in his house and finally sees a horrific sight: black mass covering his body and rushing out of the residence. By this point, the Z-Fighters have already used the Dragon Balls twice. Once to bring back West City, two before Venom's rampage, and another to make the world forget about Venom. As a result, Hercule can't find a single clue about what this black goo is. Even though he searches all through the internet, the symbiote finally decides to reveal itself to Mr. Satan. He was the first human he ever attached himself to, simply because he was so much stronger than all other humans he could find. But he was still a far cry from Goku, the one person he craved for. Satan has a conversation with him while looking into the mirror, and although the symbiote tries to take over, Mr. Satan actually manages to fight him off. The symbiote is extremely weak from the last battle and cannot withstand Satan's willpower. It lashes out because he thinks that Hercule is going to try to kill him, just like Goku and his friends did. But instead, Satan offers him help. He feels the longing within him, the feeling of abandonment. Satan wants to help this symbiote, much like how he helped Boo in the original story, and thus, this bizarre relationship begins. Hercule does try to settle in his new life, with him and the symbiote living together for the next 3 years. And instead of draining people out of their life force, Mr. Satan simply eats more eggs and other protein-heavy foods. Though it takes a while, this does eventually satisfy the symbiote. It even likes chocolate. They actually start to learn more about each other, and even care. Hercule may be a fraud, but he's a genuine good guy who seeks to take care of his daughter, while the symbiote simply wants a place where he belongs. There's still a huge darkness within him, but with Satan he feels like he can mellow out. He doesn't have to kill everyone. The Z-Fighters do eventually see Mr. Satan on TV, and they realize that he's very strong, but they don't suspect a thing just yet. They were more focused on training for the android attack. After being bonded with Satan and Goku for so long, the symbiote begins to change. It's no longer violent or wrathful, at least for now. Satan does try to keep it a secret from his daughter, though she's very smart and suspects something, and through his dreams, Mr. Satan begins to recognize some things that the symbiote himself remembers, including Goku and the others, and even a conversation about androids. Mr. Satan wakes up in a cold sweat, asking the symbiote what that was, and finally, it tells him. 3 years from that memory, 2 androids will attack an island close to a city. Mr. Satan can't let this happen. He needs to help out, even though at first he thinks this is just a prank. The symbiote tells him that it's true, and that if he really wants to do something, then he would need his help. Satan looked at himself in the mirror, realizing that whoever this Goku fellow was did give something to the symbiote. Was it a sense of justice? Wanting to protect others? Or was it just the desire to fight stronger beings? 3 years passed, and Satan patrols the city where the androids are set to appear. It's difficult at first, because everyone recognizes him as the world martial arts champion, and fans start to crowd around Mr. Satan. But he has no choice but to tell them off when an explosion happens nearby, while androids 20 and 19 confront Yamcha. Hercule rolls in from the sky with a dynamite kick. Dr. Gero is actually kicked out, with Mr. Satan saving Yamcha. Hercule says that the android's days are numbered, because he is the world martial arts champ, Mr. Satan. The androids look perplexed. How does he know who they are? They have zero data on this so-called Hercule. They have something on a guy named Mark. Was that him? Without much warning, Satan continued the fight against 19, but it's obvious that he doesn't quite stand a chance just yet. This does attract attention to the Z Fighters, however. Goku is impressed, wondering just who this guy is. Krillin does recognize him as a guy he saw on TV, but he seems like a world apart from what he saw. But when Goku and Hercule make eye contact, there is a huge surge of hate through his body, and Goku feels it. He feels the power of the symbiote. Hercule tries his best to calm him down. They have to focus on the androids, but it's clear that Satan is having some trouble, prompting the Z Fighters to attack the androids. 19 is about to kill Satan while he loses control of the symbiote, but he is saved by the arrival of a Super Saiyan Vegeta, who blasts the distracted android 19 away with a big bang attack, destroying him. Mr. Satan thanks Vegeta profusely, but he's just disgusted by this human. Goku's heart virus hits as the battle continues, and he is forced to back down. Vegeta continues to step up to the plate, but before Vegeta is finished gloating about his new form, Satan rolls in with a powerful attack that surprises Gero and sends him flying. Krillin thanks Hercule for their help, and he begins to brag, but he's quickly shut down by Piccolo, because now they don't know where Gero went. On their way to the mountains, Krillin and Gohan ask just who he is to Mr. Satan, and he explains as much as he can. When they reach the mountains, everyone splits up. Hercule searches the landscape for Gero, asking Venom what he knows about these guys. He gives a short explanation about the Z Fighters, but that he doesn't know much about the androids. That's when he gets attacked by Gero, who tries to drain his energy, but Venom lashes out, temporarily taking full control as he uses the tentacles to grab Gero and hurl him away. Gero is left in shock by this demonic beast, and Venom continues to attack the Doctor. The Z Fighters see this and follow close behind, all the way to Gero's lab. That's when all the other Z Fighters, besides Goku, feel the fact that this is in fact the symbiote. The Z Fighters try to fight off Venom, knowing that he's huge trouble, and resorting to their old tactics of whistling. It appears to work at first, but Venom slowly pushes through the pain. It seemed like he was adapting. Venom starts to take down the Z Fighters one by one, with the only real challenge being Vegeta. Even Trunks arrives, and the pair of Super Saiyans attack and nearly defeat the beast, but it manages to both recover and receive a Senkai boost. Thanks to this boost, Venom gets even stronger. Another explosion sounds off near a mountain as the battle continues, and 3 new androids appear. Dr. Gero is now dead, and Trunks believes his mission has failed. He realizes that these are the androids. But this symbiote, he's something different. He's not the same one that destroyed his timeline. The symbiote calms down a little, wanting to see these androids, and some of Satan's face comes out. Piccolo asks why and how he got the symbiote, and Satan tries to explain that he's not a bad guy, he just had a reaction to that Goku guy. Piccolo completely ignores him, but it doesn't matter anyways. The androids are their priority. During the android attack, Satan is able to defend Gohan from 17, much to the symbiote's anger. As Krillin tries to retrieve the injured Z Fighters and heal them with senzu beans, he realizes that the symbiote is not holding back, and that the symbiote completely took over Satan once more. The monster is below 17, but he isn't a complete wash. 16 can't move, stating that he's currently occupied analyzing this new phenomenon. Venom is unpredictable and actually catches 17 off guard, nearly absorbing him, when Satan himself stops him from within. The symbiote simply rips and tears 17, declaring himself to be Venom, the lethal protector of Earth. As long as he's around, they won't do any harm to any innocents anytime soon. 17 got freed and escaped. He wasn't extremely hurt, but it was enough to worry him. But if this Venom guy got a hold of them, he would basically get an infinite supply of energy. The Z Fighters watched the battle in awe, wondering if Venom can really take out the androids, when 16 finally intervenes, blasting Venom away, saying calmly that his analysis is complete. This is a sentient symbiotic alien that contains trace amounts of Goku's cells, and that it seemed to gain Senkai boost, just like Goku, which it abused to catch up to them. 16 declares that this is enough to fit his mission parameters, and he goes in to try to kill this quote-unquote Goku. The two hulking figures battle out, with Krillin managing to save the twins and move them away from the battle. Trunks chastises Krillin for saving them, but Krillin maintains that he doesn't think they're as bad as he thinks. 16 uses a Hell Flash on Venom, which incinerates the area and defeats Venom. Only Hercule is left in the crater, covered in black goo. 16 goes for one final attack, but Gohan grabs onto Satan and rushes out of there. Tien gets in the way, using a solar flare to distract everyone, and letting Gohan escape along with everyone else. Mr. Satan is in a horrible condition, and it's gonna take a while to get him back to full health. Kami and Popo allow him to stay at the lookout while he's unconscious. In the meantime, everyone else goes out to try to do more about the androids, waiting for Goku to recover. Thus, the events of the Cell arc play out mostly similar for a while. Cell awakens, attacks, and Kami is forced to fuse with Piccolo, making Dende the new god of Earth. When Dende goes to heal Satan, he discovers that physically he's completely fine. The symbiote was able to regenerate his wounds a long time ago, but something was going on within his mind. For now, they have to leave him be. He'll have to get out of whatever he's dreaming. Satan opened his eyes to find himself in an unfamiliar planet. An old green man stands up and places a hood over his head, heading out. Satan tries to speak, but no words come out. In fact, he doesn't even feel the symbiote. Hercule finds a group of these aliens gathered around a large building. The man, who Hercule was following at the start, begins to chant an incantation. Unknown to him, this was the Namekian language. In the middle of the circle, a light shoots straight up from space, and the chanting grows louder and louder as pink ooze falls down from the tear. The old wizard stopped chanting and coughed profusely. He approached the pink ooze and reached out to it when it enveloped his body. Hercule and the hooded figures watched in awe and fear while the ooze completely covered the old man, turning his skin pink. But he appeared taller, younger, and healthier. The tear disappeared as the group cheered, but Hercule noticed the enchantment circle had started to crackle in a violent purple spark of electricity. These sparkles started to swirl uncontrollably around the circle where the old man now stood as shades of black filled the room. The old man screamed in pain, and the goo that covered his body changed from pink to black. Hercule recognized this. This was Venom. The monster attacked various Namekians, and the wizards ran in fear while some tried to stop him with magic, and other warriors tried to attack. But the symbiote seemed unstoppable, even creating others, almost as if he had children. Mr. Satan hid behind a rock while the attack continued. He put his hands over his ears, breathing heavily. He did not want to hear these cries until the sound stopped. Satan opened his eyes and finally looked around to find death and destruction. Venom looked down, breathing heavily. Surrounding it was a pile of bodies, with multicolored goo dripping from them all, tears streaming down. Mr. Satan cried. Everyone was right. He truly was a monster. Nothing good could ever come out of him. He needed to be destroyed. Venom stayed quiet as he looked up to the sky. He noticed that it seemed like tears were falling from Venom's eyes. The symbiote's skin bubbled as he punched the ground, causing massive earthquakes. Eventually, Hercule sees that Venom reached the planet's core. Hot magma spews from around the landscape, and Venom stares into the fiery pit. Mr. Satan reaches out for Venom as it seems like he looked at him, but Venom took a step back instead, falling into the ravine, into the magma. Hercule rushes over to the crater, and he sees Venom set ablaze, being consumed by the planet's core. That's when Mr. Satan awakens in a cold sweat. Hercule grasps for air. He wasn't in an alien planet anymore. This looked like a bedroom. Popo and Dende enter the room, and Hercule thinks he's been kidnapped. The pair manage to calm him down and explain the situation. He slowly remembers everything, realizing that some kid saved him, a kid he hated. He shook his head. No, that wasn't him. That was the symbiote. Dende catches Satan up, explaining that the Cell Games will happen in a few days, and that some of them are training. Hercule asks just how long he's been out, when Popo says that he was asleep for a few days. He begins to freak out, realizing that he left Videl alone. He thanks the pair for looking out for them. Popo requests that he stays a bit longer, but Mr. Satan has to go now. There's people in the world that need him. Almost instinctively, Mr. Satan flies away. He returns to his daughter, who slaps him for being away for too long. She was very strong. It actually hurt him. He apologizes profusely, and finally tucks her into bed, promising to go to a theme park the next morning. Mr. Satan then goes to his bedroom and looks at himself in the mirror. The symbiote appears from Hercule's clothes, asking if the nightmare he saw was a real memory. Venom nods. Everything he saw actually happened. That's how the Namekians were nearly destroyed so long ago. They tried to recreate a being that was primordial, something named Boo, and he was the result of that cloning process. Satan says that he realizes now that their union is a curse, that as soon as the world is safe, Venom is done for. Venom tries to argue, but Satan doesn't hear it. All he wants to talk about is defeating the Cell guy. Venom suggests absorbing people to get stronger, just like Cell had done. Satan refused, explaining that he's not fighting like that. He needs to take care of his daughter, and he doesn't want to hurt others. Satan gives the symbiote a final ultimatum. They will remain bonded together so that they can fight Cell. However, if they survive this and Cell is defeated, they will remove their connection. Venom tries to convince Hercule that they need each other, but Hercule gets mad, yelling at the symbiote that he and his daughter won't be another one of those snacks, just like the green people were. Venom goes quiet and agrees to the deal. Mr. Satan takes Videl out to the theme park for an apology, having a lot of fun. Videl jokingly asks if her dad can defeat Cell, and Satan laughs. Apparently she had seen the television screening. But after the theme park, Satan took Videl out to train, but this wasn't just regular training, as he showed his daughter a small yellow ball of ki emanating from his palm. Hercule tells Videl that he's the champion of the world. He has some powers, so she should never worry. He'll save everyone, including her, but he admits that he doesn't know if he should get involved with Cell. Videl looks at her father seriously, saying that he has to do what's right, just like he taught her. With determination, Satan leaves Videl with his students and headed towards the Cell Games arena to fight alongside the symbiote one last time. Thanks for watching, everyone. That was part 2 of What If Goku Had the Venom Symbiote, although I guess that's kind of a misnomer at this point, isn't it? But he may get it back in the future. We'll have to see. Big shout out to Professor Chimp, who was the co-writer of the story. He was a ton of help, and of course, Rajmain, who edited this video. If you haven't checked it out already, be sure to watch my last video, which was a collab with Salad Saiyan. What if the two Brolys were twins? It's a strange tale, but I think it's a lot of fun. I gotta give a huge shout out to the Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Legend, and Ultra Instinct members of the channel. You guys are awesome and really rock. Eric Dragon, Ray Blades, Neil Whitcomb, Super Kami Mewtwo, Wayne Antoine, Dustin Nelson, Sacred Saiyan, Phil J. Akir, Pizza Hut Kitman, Orlando Castellano, Hannah Rowan, Sir Justice, Midnight Combatant, The Real Samuel Randall, and Zachary Croy. But I want to give special thanks to Ray Blades, Neil Whitcomb, and Super Kami Mewtwo for being some of the first Ultra Instinct members of the channel. So if you guys are watching this, be sure to hit me up on Twitter or Discord or wherever you really want, and I will always respond to your comments. We can have some conversations and get to know each other a little bit. I think that'd be fun. Anyways, guys, I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed. Part 3 will be up on Sunday, and until we meet again, see ya!
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Smugstick, unless you want to be destroyed.
Lord Beerus, that's hardly fair. But also, don't forget to click the bell icon to get notified when he uploads new videos.